Each year, Microsoft Research hosts hundreds of influential speakers from around the world, including leading scientists, renowned experts in technology, book authors, and leading academics, and makes videos of these lectures freely available.
And so I just wanted to throw out something to everyone in terms of communication with our numbers here. So far, I just emailed everybody. I'll at least want to put the thought in your head. If you think we ought to be doing that differently, if it ought to be a discussion list on a website or a wiki or some sort of thing like that, please let me know. Say, stop sending me these emails. But for now, I'm going to presume that we're small enough to carry on that way.
You've all gotten emails from me too, requesting status to our wonderful UMS database. Hopefully you enjoyed that process.
We have.
It's some fun. And sometimes I go and I just update it,
What is the status of the hardware? Are they going to be further revisions of the hardware itself?
It's kind of.
You said it's coming.
Are there any further revisions of hardware? Okay, well, I hope I get this right, and Georgina might know better than me the latest. But the plans were, on the bottom of the SenseCam here, there's an extension plug. And I believe they've already prototyped a Bluetooth extender. And they're working on that first because the idea is that could buy you a lot of things. So at first people were thinking GPS or various things, but they want to have the ability of Bluetooth, because then if you had a Bluetooth GPS, it could be in your pocket instead of taped to the side of the notebook or whatever. And so that's the first one. And then they're going to have other extenders, including hopefully GPS. Audio, they were going to do that way also, although last I heard there was some debate about they may have had a way to build it right into the next version of SenseCam. They are going to build it in. Right, and so that's what you're waiting on. That's why I was a little bit uncertain as to whether they're just going to ship you a little extender. That when they said they're going to give you this one, they don't know whether they're going to ask for the SenseCams back to upgrade them, or whether they're going to. And the way they may do that, by the way, is simply that they'll send you a new SenseCam that does audio, and you'll just send yours back, and then they'll upgrade the ones once, so they've got that back there. So audio is upcoming, and the Bluetooth for sure. That stuff is in the works. And then whatever else they decide to do with extenders. Does that sound right? Anything else that makes sense to discuss as a group? Yeah?
It seems like in this room we have expertise on all of the things that need to be fit together into version 3 in terms of software support and tools and so forth. I don't know how we can do this, but it would be really great if we could somehow pool our thinking and coordinate them in a way that we could build some super version of all of it.
You know, I think that's a great suggestion, because we were talking about sharing source, and then out in the hall I was talking with a couple of people about, you know, what happens with this. Oh, yeah, that's right. We were talking about what happens with it. Do people have different branches, and how does it work back in? And it's always like a standards body. But I think what you're saying is right, is that for the people who are interested in extending the software, it probably makes sense for them to have a discussion about, is there some common direction, you know, pieces that we could all share that we're all interested in, that we could push the software forward that way. So I'm coming out of this day thinking, wow, I really got to explore open source, and also we need to sort of have a little standards committee body for saying, okay, and how do we want to go forward? You know, everyone can feel free to take branches however they want, but on the other hand, there's a lot that we could share, and it'd be good to agree on. Excellent idea. Anyone else? Yeah.
When we went to visit MSR in Cambridge, and we talked to Ken and Steve, we were asking them in particular about the algorithm that's used to trigger the taking of a photograph, which is set as a default of, as we figured out, every 50 seconds unless something happens sooner than that. And we thought at the time, I'm just checking with Gareth, we thought at the time that we knew enough about the bootstrapping file or the parameter file that we could change that if we wanted to. Because sometimes some people will want to get their hands dirty, roll up their sleeves and go in.
And can I just interject to explain what Alan's saying there? So there is a boot up file in the SenseCam. I think, is it a boot.ini or something like that? Boot.bat. And it contains parameters so that the algorithm inside the code, without touching that, there's parameters for the algorithm, and Alan's saying they knew enough to go in and tweak these parameters. So.
But we haven't tried to do that yet. We found from some of the applications, some of the scenarios that, would it be better if instead of taking a default image every 50 seconds, it was every 10 seconds or 30 seconds? Sorry, Georgie, to put you on the spot. Have you played with this or known anything about this?
I don't. I think it's relatively easy to change it, and I was just going to have a look and see if I can work out how that happens.
Okay.
Sorry.
So I guess the message is that it's not hard-coded, or it's hard-coded but it's parameterizable, and if your application, whatever that might be, might want to change that in some way, then that should be doable, could be doable. And it's the kind of thing that somebody will learn, figure out how to do, and say, now I know. I think it's something.
Any paper that explains
No.
the algorithm?
No. Oh, the algorithm.
No.
Yeah, because that's one question. If you want to apply something, you need to explain when the picture is sort of taken.
Yeah, we spent some time trying to figure it out, reverse engineering what's the process, and we came up with what we think is the set of rules for it. This was Aidan who was doing this mostly, based on trial and error. And also in the log file on the SenseCam, the event which has triggered the taking of each photograph has a code in the CSV file. So it's M for manual triggering, which is the button press on top, or it's something else for another trigger. So by looking at that and trying to figure out the pattern, we think we know what the triggering algorithm is.
We'll ask them. I just took a note of that. We'll ask them. We'll get what that algorithm is. And I know they have sent in an email to me the information about that boot file. So we'll try and get that information and add it to the SenseCam FAQ. Yeah. I know one thing. I don't know. I don't think I can change it back. But what I really missed, the original SenseCam was set up in terms of sensitivity, so you could pass your hand in front to take a picture instead of pushing a button. And they said, well, we took that out because there's a button now to take a picture. But I hate that because I'm giving away. People can see me taking a picture. And I used to go. Taking a picture. Yeah,
And if your hand is warm enough, you can put it like that near it, and it will.
Oh, really? Does that work?
I think. Yeah, I think they did have it. They did have it. They did have a justification for that. I think it was something to do with people wearing jackets or something, maybe.
Well, you were getting a lot more images. Yeah. So they said, because the idea of the light level is supposed to catch things like room changes. Right. And so they were triggering a bunch of images that weren't big, kind of scene changes. Or the person will turn like this, dark to light. Nothing's really happened, don't take it. But I really miss just waving my hand and the surreptitious photo taking. Good. We're done? All right. Well, I'm sure that after we get a few more calories in, listen, thank you all so much for coming out. Once again, thank you to Carla. That was great. Everything, gifts, lunch, guys in the back.